The proposed Narrabri gas project was controversial from the beginning. Now, the Independent Planning Commission has approved the $3.6 billion project, which will see 850 coal seam gas wells built in the Pilliga.
This is the injection that this community needed after 3 years of drought, not to mention COVID-19.
What was your reaction this morning?
Devastated.
I was actually gutted.
Opponents are concerned it could contaminate water in the Great Artesian Basin. The IPC's approval came with 134 strict conditions, including changes to groundwater modelling. It comes just weeks after the PM pushed for a gas-fired power station in the Hunter as a means of recovery from COVID-19.
Well, up to 1,300 jobs during the construction phase of Santos, and then 200 to 300 ongoing jobs after that.
I think within the next 10 years we're going to see some very exciting industries research or move to Narrabri to start their business.
Santos has welcomed the decision and it's now up to the federal government to sign off on it. Minister for Environment Susan Lee is expected to make the call in the coming weeks. Holly Williams, NBN News. Throwing up a peace sign, a relieved Robert McDonald emerges from Tamworth Local Court. The 58-year-old is accused of threatening to kill the Prime Minister and Treasurer, but says he meant no harm.
My alleged threat wasn't made at all towards Morrison. It was made towards the post was about something that was put into the Parliament House, but it was construed as a overall threat to kill. But I mean, I'm a pacifist, 100%.
Detectives from the Fixated Persons Unit began investigating McDonald late last year after being alerted to a comment he allegedly made on social media. Detectives raiding his home in December. He represented himself in court today. The matter was adjourned so that he could seek legal advice. McDonald is facing 2 charges of using a carriage service to harass and cultivating a prohibited plant. His case returns to court next month. Holly Williams, NBN News. He's best known for representing Australia, playing in 13 test matches and 83 one-day internationals, before retiring and becoming a farmer in Moree. But Peter Taylor paid a heavy price for spending decades out in the sun. He's had countless spots removed in recent years, battling non-melanoma skin cancer.
Every time, my doctor will just take a few more off, and she looks me over, and it's a very comforting thing to know that I've got an expert looking at me.
Minister for Regional Health Mark Colton says he's also had a brush with the disease, which claims 1,700 Australian lives each year.
The first 50 years of my life, from being a toddler to when I went into Parliament, was out in paddocks like this, and we didn't take enough care.
Today, the pair joined forces, urging those on the land to remember the importance of skin care.
Quite often harvest time is a frantic time where sometimes the little things get overlooked in the speed of getting the crop off, but just to take those couple of minutes to put on a hat and cover up with sunscreen.
Holly Williams, NBN News. Welcome to Windy Station, an iconic property boasting a century-old woolshed. And while it's sat dormant for the last 20 years, its unique architecture is still catching the eye of passers-by.
So I'm currently having regular phone calls, people wanting to use it for weddings. I've had a number of tour groups contact us. Regional tourism is really skyrocketing at the moment. People can't go overseas, so they want to come out to the regions and stay here. So manager Claire Lee is giving the antique shed a second lease on life, reopening as a conference centre. We're always going to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane for conferences. We love to hold them here and have the on-farm learning. Around a dozen residents are transforming their properties into tourism hubs, places like Windy Station, helping to put the Liverpool Plains on the tourism map.
It's all about attracting holidaymakers and educating them on how food flows from gate to plate.
You've got others that are doing farm tours where you can learn about how food's produced.
We have beautiful lavender farm, there's honey producers, there's art workshops and lovely little historical homesteads.
This is a really good way to build economy in regional areas. It helps farmers, especially when you're in drought, to continue to have that connection with people and with consumer and to feel valued.
Holly Williams, NBN News. As quickly as they came, they were off. This morning, the Warriors bid farewell to the country music capital, not before thanking their hosts at the West Leagues Club, in true Maori form.
Without your guys' help, we certainly wouldn't have been able to have such a wonderful stay here.
And the feeling is mutual.
I've never met a bunch of people better than these guys here. They've touched our hearts.
Tokens exchanged before a heartfelt goodbye to a team almost reluctant to leave.
We're a little saddened actually that we're leaving.
The Kiwi side now relocating to the Central Coast, where they'll hopefully play their first game against the Dragons next Saturday, taking a piece of Scully Park with them.
We will remember the Warriors, and we certainly will this year. It's been, like I said, a great experience.
Holly Williams, NBN News.